Okay.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Anyone Can Code video. Can you guess who I am? Well, today we're going to make an Animoji, which is something like this. So, we're going to use RealityKit and Reality Composer, which are both new technologies released by Apple. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, this is what we're going to make today. As you can see, the robot has a moving mouth, eyes, and even an eyebrow. And if I raise my eyebrows, it makes a sound. And we're going to make this with a new RealityKit and Reality Composer. Alright, so as always, we're just going to go ahead and create a new Xcode project. And then we're just going to use the Augmented Reality app template, which is under the iOS tab. So when we click next, I'm just going to call this, let's just call this Robo Animoji, because we're going to make a robot Animoji. And down here, remember to choose the RealityKit content technology, because we're going to use RealityKit today. For a user interface, I'm just going to use Storyboard, but if you want, you can use Swift UI. And I'm just going to create. Alright, so I'm just going to jump into this experience.rc project file. And as you can see, there's a preview here, but we have to open this in Reality Composer just so we can edit it. Alright, so this is Reality Composer. And as you can see, we have this tab here, which is like the properties inspector. And then you can see that we can change our anchor type. So you can do horizontal, vertical, image, face, or object. I'm just going to leave this on horizontal. And then here, this is just a physics for the floor. And you can check if the floor is like gonna collide. Here's just the material of the floor. So if it's ice, then things that collide with the floor will just slide. And down here is the gravity. So you can increase the gravity, decrease the gravity. I'm just gonna increase the gravity just for fun. And you just use, you just click and drag to look around. Use 2 fingers, and then just drag around just to pan around the scene. And then just pinch to zoom. It's quite simple, and it's the same as SceneKit if you've used SceneKit. And if we click on the box, then we just select it, and you can see that there's some arrows and a ring. So if I drag on the arrows, it just moves the box on its axis of the. So this just moves it up and down. The other arrows move it in different directions. And then this ring here, it changes depending on where you look. And if I just drag on this ring and drag around the box, you can see that it just spins it around and it rotates it. And then you can just drag the ring towards or away from the box, and you just scale it. And of course, you can fine-tune these values right here. And currently, you can have a look and feel of a material. So you can make this gold or rubber. I'm gonna just leave this at steel. You can change the width and height. And also there's a bevel radius, which is just how smooth the box is. For physics, I can make this participate, meaning that it will collide with other things. And this motion type, I'll set it to dynamic, just so it can fall. So if I just drag this up, I'm gonna just save with Command S and just press the play button. You can see that the box falls. I mean, it's not really that exciting, but at least we're getting somewhere. So I'm just gonna turn off participates, and over here is a scenes. If I press on the scenes button, you can check all the scenes. So you can add more scenes, delete some scenes, but I'm just going to rename this scene here to Animoji, because this is an Animoji scene. And this name here will be useful when you create the or load the scene. Anyways, I'm just going to go up here, and this objects button here, just if you select it, then you can add in some objects. You can, of course, import your own using the USDZ file, using your own USDZ files. And if you scroll down here, Apple has their own library of different objects. So if I just drag this rocket into a scene, then you can see that rocket appears. Oops. Let me just rename this again. Save. And as you can see, here's a rocket. And over here, it's pretty much self-explanatory. You can snap, you can move it around in local or global space. Anyways, over here is interesting because you can edit your objects on iOS. And so if I click on this and open up my phone, let me just, open up Reality Composer. Alright, so as you can see, I've opened up Reality Composer on my phone, and you can see the phone on the screen here, but over here, if you look over here, you can see that there's this phone here, or this button that you can select, and I can just accept, and it'll just sync the object or the file to the phone. And now you can actually just edit the scene right here. And if I just press, or I'm actually gonna go here and edit the scene. So if I go here and select the anchor, I'm just gonna change this to face. Now, if I press the AR button, which is an extra button on your phone, and by the way, Reality Composer is an app that you have to download separately on your iPhone, but Reality Composer comes on your comes separate, or it just comes with Xcode 11 on your computer, but you just have to download it from the App Store if you're using it on iPhone or iPad. So if I just press the AR button, which turns on the AR preview, you can see that there's my face, and it's tracking my face. Now you can see that there's a box that's anchored to my face. You can see that if I look around, the box moves around too. And of course, another cool thing is that I can move this around. So if I just drag, then you can see that I can just move around this box here, and I can edit it live within the AR preview. Anyways, I'm just gonna exit AR mode, and I'm gonna click done. All right, so now you can see what changes have been made, and you can see that there's the box here, and I might actually just make a quick change, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a robot for our Animoji. I'm just going to go ahead and delete this, a rocket with a delete button, and I'm just going to make the robot myself, and we're going to do a time lapse. So see you in a few seconds. Alright, so I've already finished this robot here, and as you can see, there's a mouth, there's some eyes, and There's also some eyebrows, and this here is just some decoration. And I've made this robot by just using some simple primitive shapes. So as you can see here, there's a cube, there's some cylinders, spheres. So I just combined those and textured them, and just ended up with this. One more thing I'm gonna do is just change this to rubber. It doesn't.
I'm not sure I understand.
That's interesting. My Apple Watch activated Siri, and that's weird. But anyways, let's just continue. I'm gonna change this to like matte paint. I'm not gonna make this metallic, but anyways, we're going to change the color of this mouth here. So it doesn't really matter. This material part here doesn't really matter. It only really matters when we're changing the colors. So, yeah, so when we open our mouth, we're going to scale this box up. So we're going to make it kind of taller, I guess. And when we blink with our eyes, because we can't blink anywhere else, we just scale this and then just scale this down on the, I guess, z-axis, I believe. So just make this shorter and taller. And just gonna let you know that the y is actually going this way, because imagine here's the ground, so this goes left and right, and then this goes, I guess, up and down, but it's kind of sideways, so that's why the y value is like that. But with the eyebrows, when we raise our eyebrows like this, then these eyebrows here will just raise. And it's actually interesting because I have this hair that's kind of covering the eyebrows, but it still kind of manages to work. Anyways, when we raise our eyebrows, we're also going to make some sound. So it's going to make this robot-ish kind of sound. I'm going to turn up the audio just so you can hear the robot sound. But also, what else? Yeah, so here's just scaling it up and changing color. And if we press this behaviors button, it closes the properties tab, so we can open the properties tab back up, but we're going to use the behaviors tab. So if I press plus and scroll down, I can create my own custom behavior. So behaviors are pretty much actions that are caused by triggers. So if I click on this box here, this empty box, and scroll down, there's this notification trigger. So then I can set the identifier to, let's say, talk. So this notification will be run from Xcode. So Xcode will notify Route to Composer, and that's what's going to start this action sequence. And this action is going to be kind of simple. So if I press the, if I just click in this box here, or press a plus button, either way, and scroll down to play sound. Actually, I'm probably going to do play music. It doesn't really matter anyway. And if we scroll down, here we go. Apple has their own kind of music library, and of course you can always import your own music, but I'm gonna choose, I believe, it's a robot sound, so bot talk. I think this one should be alright. And I'm just gonna select that, and then after that, I'm gonna press a button, the plus button, and go down to notify. Now this notify action will just notify Xcode that you finished talking. So, and this identifier here is just used for, just so Xcode knows what identifier it has to handle. And this affected objects, if you want to pass a selected object to Xcode, so Xcode can play around with it, maybe change it or make it fly away or disappear. I don't really know, but it's just going to pass it down, but we don't really need to pass down any objects. Now, reason why I'm doing finish talking is I don't want the robot to, like, when we raise our eyebrows, it's going to keep playing the sound over and over again every single frame. So I'm going to use a variable that will just stop it in between here and here. So once it's stopped, once this is ended, then it'll just turn this variable, set it to true, and then you can run this talk notification again. Yeah, and what else is there? I think that's really it. So I think we're done right here. So I'm just gonna keep Reality Composer open, but I'm just going to go here. I'm gonna go to viewcontroller.swift. Let me just close this tab here, and I'll just rename this Reality Composer project to Robo Experience. And if we go to view controller, you can see that there's an error. Now, why is there an error? Well, reason is here we're loading the scene, and the scene, you can think of it as an anchor containing all the objects. So scenes, anchors, I guess you could mix them together, but scenes and anchors are kind of different. It's a little complicated there, but anyways, this load box thing is actually this name here is actually the name of a file. So if I change this to Robo Experience, then it'll work. Now there'll be another problem here. If you do, we're gonna do load Animoji. And if we do load Animoji, then it will work. And this try symbol, this try thing here is, it's pretty much here because when we want to load the Animoji, sometimes it might throw an error and throw catch errors. So basically it might throw like a really bad error, and then at least you're able to catch it and print out the error or do something else. But here there's an exclamation mark here because we're kind of, living on the edge. We're kind of like, if it fails, then it fails. The app crashes, people give you bad reviews. Anyways, we're not going to release this on the App Store. But we know that this scene should be here. Hopefully. Like, something might happen to your phone. Maybe it deletes the scene. But trust me, it won't. That probably won't happen. So I'm just going to leave this here. But I want to make this public so it can be accessed from different functions. So it's kind of like a global variable or a property of the class. So if I just create, I'm going to call this Robo Anchor. And it's going to be of type Robo Experience dot Animoji. Of course, this is the name of the file. This is the name of the scene. Remember, we named this over here Animoji. So it's Robo Experience dot Animoji. So over here, so if we basically it's just the file scene. It's quite simple, and that's pretty much a type. So if you try to load another scene from here, the type's not gonna match. Xcode's gonna give you an error and stuff. Yeah, there'll be consequences. And I'm just gonna set this to Robo Anchor. I'm just gonna delete these. Comments here. We don't really need them, but of course we have to rename this to Robo Anchor. So here we're actually adding in the Robo Anchor. We're gonna add it to the AR view which is pretty much the viewport, or where they display the whole AR experience. And the AR view has its own scene. You just add in the Animoji scene / anchor, and it's all good. But we're gonna use face. We're gonna use a face anchor, meaning that we have to use a front-facing camera, the true depth camera. That's what I mean. And for those of you who don't know what the true depth camera is, it's just a face tracking system made by for iPhones. It's just for the newer iPhones, like iPhone 10, iPhone 11. The iPhone 11 is a new one, unless you're watching this from like in 2020 to 2020, 2030. There'll probably be newer phones. Anyways, I'm just going to go import Reality Composer. Oh, actually, ARKit. Now, the reason why I'm importing ARKit is, get this, RealityKit is built on top of ARKit. So basically you can do kind of ARKit-like stuff in RealityKit. So I'm just going to create an face tracking configuration, an ARKit face tracking configuration, and pass it into the AR view just so it can be run. And this is something that I've recently learned. It's actually pretty interesting. So if I do let config is short for configuration. So that's going to be AR face tracking configuration. After that, we're going to do arview.session run configuration. Now I'm just gonna pass in the config, and this parameter here, we don't really need it because there's another function of run configuration, which where you only need to just put in the configuration. And after that, I'm also going to do arview.session.delegate, and that's going to be self, because I'm going to make this, because I need to handle the you know, when you update the face anchors and all that, I want to update the face, if you get what I mean. So AR session delegate, there you go. And this error should go away. And alright, so arview.session.delegate, that's all good. Oh, one more, I'm going to change this to view will appear, because I want to run this configuration when the view will appear, because it's I don't think it would work with view did load. Anyways, I'm gonna do super.view will appear animated. I'm just gonna pass in animated. That's just to let the phone know that that the view will appear, and it will just handle its own stuff by itself. We don't really need to worry about that. Yeah. That's actually, we still have to do a few more things. I'm gonna add in a few variables, actually quite a few variables. So I'm gonna create a variable called allows talking, and that's gonna be set by default to true. Now, when the robot talks, I'm gonna set it to false. Once it's finished talking, I'll set it back to true, just so trust me, it's every frame it's gonna keep, if this is not here, every frame it'll just keep running the talking action, and your speakers, it's not gonna sound very good. It's gonna be terrible. Anyways, I'm also going to create a few other variables, so one for each part of the face. So we have the eye, another eye, brow, a mouth, and a mouth model. I'll talk about that later. So let's do mouth, and that's going to be an entity. And there's a mouth model, and this is going to be a model entity. Now, a model entity is special because with this model entity, you can change, I'm pretty sure you can change the size, width, height, and depth of your box. or your geometry, and you can also change the material. So that's how we're going to change the color. Now the mouth model is actually inside of the mouth by default. I don't exactly know why, but it's probably some sort of system that Xcode has, or RealityKit has, with their entities. Anyways, we're gonna create IL, which is I left, and that's gonna be an entity, and then var IR, that's also another entity, and then brow left, that's an entity, and then brow right, and that's the entity. Oh, entity. There we go. Yeah, there we go. And I'm just going to, do some other. I'm going to set all these variables. So first is a mouth. So the mouth will just be robo anchor dot find entity, and that's going to be named mouth. And then I'm gonna just leave it like that, and then I'm just gonna copy this over and over again. Let's see, 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4 5. I'm just gonna split this up, just make the code neater. Wait, actually, 1 2 3. Oh, we don't need an extra. There's an extra one. So this is going to be I left, I right. This is going to be brow left, and this is going to be brow right. So IL, IR, brow L, brow R. And if I go over to Reality Composer, then you can see, if I open up the Properties tab, you can see that there's IR, IL, brow L, and brow R, and there's also mouth. Let's go back to Xcode, and one more thing is the mouth model. Now, since it's a child of a model of a mouth, then I'm just going to do mouth dot children. So it's going to get the children of the mouth, but there should be only one. There should be only one mouth. Actually, there should be only. Oh, wait. There we go. There should be only one. I guess, child of the mouth, and that's going to be the mouth model. I'll just do that. There we go. Okay, cool. That's all good. I'm just going to go down here, and I am just going to create. Actually, there's still one more thing that we have to do. Let's see. We have to do robo anchor dot actions dot finish talking. So we need to handle finish talking notification from Reality Composer, and if we do on action, we can set this variable to a closure, and so here, if you don't know what a closure is, it's pretty much just a function that's pretty much a function which is like a variable type of a function, but it's like generic. You don't have a name in it, but you do have this here, which is like a just a parameter, and that parameter is the if I open up behaviors, there's the affected object here. But since it's none, I'm just gonna put an underscore there, just so it's like it's just gonna ignore the parameter. So once that's done, I'm just going to do self.allows talking equals true, and we always put self just because we're using a closure, and there are sometimes if you don't use self, Xcode will be angry at you, it'll throw problems at you, and you're not gonna have a good time. Anyways, yeah, let's just create a new function, or use a function from the AR session delegate, which is did update anchors. So when it's updated its anchors, including the face anchor, then we're going to, check the anchor, and update the Animoji. So I'm going to create a variable called face anchor, and this is going to be an optional of the face, which is an AR face anchor, because sometimes you may not get an AR face anchor. So if there isn't any, then we'll just check if there is one. If not, then we'll just stop the function. Anyways, we're gonna loop through all the anchors. So for A in anchors, then I'll just do if let A equals AR, or actually anchor, or actually if let anchor equals A as an AR face anchor, then anchor, or face anchor, will be anchor. And after that, I'm just going to do a godlet, checking if the face anchor does exist. But we're also going to grab all the values for the mouth and the eye and the brow. So I'm going to do godlet face anchor, or actually blend shapes, which I'll talk about later. And that's going to be face anchor dot blend shapes. Now else we're going to do return. Now these blend shapes are pretty much like different values for different parts of your face, so cheeks or mouth, or like tongue, eye, brow. So basically after that I'm gonna add some more constants, so inside the godlet, so because sometimes the RealityKit or ARKit can't get all of the blend shapes, and remember there's over 50 blend shapes, so there's a lot of blend shapes. You can choose from many blend shapes. Anyways, I'm gonna choose let's see, there's the jaw value, which is blend shapes jaw open, and of course I'm just gonna copy and paste both just to make this easier. How many do I need? I think 4 is enough. So I'm just gonna indent all these, and this is gonna be IL value, which is the left eye's, the blinking of the left eye. And then there's IR value. There's gonna be brow L value, which is the eyebrows being raised, and brow R value. Now for IL value, it's actually if I go through all of these, there should be eye blink left. And then I'm just gonna copy this over. Oops. I'm gonna make this eye blink right. And then there should be brow raise, or brow outer up left, which is a movement of the eyebrow going up, and of course there's the right value. Now these are all numbers from 0 to 1. So 0 means it's like in its resting position. So let's say jaw open. 0 means that the jaw is closed. 1 means that 0 means that the mouth is closed, 1 means that the mouth is open. Same thing goes with the eye and the brows. And I'm going to make this a float value just by doing .float value. So if I just copy and paste over here, and we should be done for this anyway. Alright, so this is all done, and we're going to do the notify that we're going to notify the the scene that we're going to talk if our eyebrows are open. So I'm just going to do some an if statement. So if the brow left value is more than or equal to 0.5, or the brow right value is more than or equal to 0.5, and you also allow talking. Oh, and one more. If you keep your eyebrow open, and once the robot has finished talking, then it'll just start over again. So I want the user to lower the eyebrows and then raise them again to talk again. So I'm going to create some other variables. So I'm going to do last brow L value, and that's going to be a float that's equal to 0.0 or 0 pretty much. And then I'm gonna copy it over and name this. I'm gonna make another one for the right value. And alright, so and the brow right value is less than 0.5. So if the last value was actually last brow, I'm gonna do L first. So I'm gonna do it so if it's less than 0.5, the last frame it was less than 0.5, and then after that it's become more than or equal to 0.5, then that's how we know that it's gone past the recommended line. And then this after that it has to go back down, and then it goes up again. Yeah, so I've tried this out and it works, so you can trust me that it works. So last brow R value equals 0.5, and then after that I'm gonna set this last brow L value equals to brow L value, and then same thing for the right value. So I'm gonna put it below because it's gonna go over again in the next frame, and then and then it's just going to check again, and then because if I put it up here, then it's gonna set it to the same thing as the I, L, and R value, which won't work. So now once that's done, I'm gonna set allows talking to false, and also I'm gonna set I'm gonna do robo anchor dot notifications dot talk dot post, which means that we're going to notify the scene that we want to talk. And now that's done. Now we're on the final stretch. Now we just have to update all the values for mouth and eye and eyebrow. So first is the mouth. So we're going to do mouth.scale .z, and that's going to be draw value times 0.2 plus 1.0. And these are values that I've already tweaked around with when testing this. So I've just found out that this works, and so we're going to do it this way. And after that, we're going to do the mouth model. So mouth model dot model, which is the model component, and the model component contains the materials. Now I'm just gonna set the materials, the whole array, just to an array with one value, because you can't set a singular value which is kind of weird. It's different from SceneKit, but I guess this just works. So this single value will be just a simple material dot init, and I'm just gonna initialize a simple material, or make a simple material with a color dot init again, because I'm gonna do an RGB value, which I've already played around with. So this is going to be the draw value plus 0.35. 0.35. I'm actually looking sideways because I have some notes prepared for this part here. So it has to be a CG float, right? So if I just do this, and this is going to be 0.35. And we don't have to convert them to a CG float, because this here is a CG float, a float, and a float is different from CG float. It's how Swift works. It's really type safe. So we're really strict with different types. CG float is not equal to float. That means there's an error. So is metallic will be false, because as you can see here, there's like this. What's this? Here, matte paint. It's like a matte thing, non-metallic color. And then after that, I'm going to do the I scale. So il.scale.z is equal to 1.0 minus il value. Now I could turn these into their own variables, but these equations are so simple that we don't really need to. So ir scale.z is the same, but with ir value. Now finally, it's the brow left and the brow right. So brow left dot position dot z equals 0.125 minus brow value times 0.02. Actually, this must have changed. Wait, let's check the brow value. So the Z position is minus 7.5. So if we put in minus 7.5, this is just adjusting the value, so it's offsetting the value. Brow left value. I almost forgot. And now it's a brow right position, and it's the exact same thing. All right, so we're done. This should work. So I'm gonna just get this phone ready, and I'm going to unlock it and just run. I'm not gonna run. I already ran this morning, but I'm gonna run the app. So, actually, just before I was recording this video, I actually went bowling with my friends because it was my friend's birthday. And actually, it was just my friend's birthday and all that, which was cool. It was a birthday party. It was on this weekend. His real birthday was actually a few days ago, but anyways. Alright, so while I was restarting the phone, I just realized that there are a few problems. First, this alpha here is not meant to be 0.35. It's meant to be 1, because I want it to be fully opaque. Secondly, these eyebrow positions are actually measurements in meters. So this is like 7.5 meters. It's a little too much. So I'm gonna do 0.075 because so 7.5 centimeters. So that's so 7.7, that should work. And I also remembered something else. these eyes, it should be eye left and eye R. Just because if I blink on my left eye, this is actually my left eye and this is right eye. So it may seem like it's the right, this is the right eye and this is the left eye, but it's the other way around. Well, it's relative to my view anyway. So that's how Xcode works with their eyes. So I'm just gonna go ahead and run this again, and yeah, I'll just my phone is ready. Oh, and it's already running. So let's see if it works. So currently it works, which is pretty cool. Which is pretty cool. But yeah. So my mouth can open and close, and my eyes can blink, and yeah, it's the eyes are working, and the eyebrows are also working. So if I fully raise my eyebrows, and then the pretty much the sound also runs. But if I leave my eyebrows closed, if I raise my eyebrows and just leave it there, right, my hair is kind of getting in the way. See, it stops doing playing the sound. So I have to lower my eyebrows, and it works again. So that's really cool. It's really cool. Yeah, so I'm just gonna stop it and we'll head over to the outro. So we've made our Animoji with RealityKit and Reality Composer, so I hope you like it. And if you want to know how I made the duck Animoji at the beginning of this tutorial, you can watch my live coding session at the link below. So yeah, my Twitter and Instagram is at yumatorienter, and my website is at www.madebyuma.com. Anyways, goodbye!